Okay. Guess I have time for one more live stream, so let's get to it. This is picture time. This is for people that like pictures, which I can include myself in that category. So either that or seeing it in person is not too bad. So let's go to the Grok and get some good information here. We're talking about the animals separated by the breakup of the continents. So here we have pictures. We got hopping desert rodents, hopping desert mice, if it were. They got the typical long tail, bushy at the end, and they hop around. I guess they're just rats or whatever. So in the New World, you got the kangaroo rat. The Old World, you got the Jaroba. Asian Pacific, you got a hopping mouse. And apparently this hopping mouse over here is endemic to Australia. And I was asking the other AI what other mammals are endemic to Australia, and they reminded me of the bats. There's a lot of bats that are also endemic to Australia. Lots of bats means they arrived there on their own. Of course, probably before the breakup of the continents. So, and bats is another topic of study too, which we should maybe consider. But here we have the Jaroba, that's the Old World hopping mouse, whatever it is. It's a desert mouse, so I guess desert somewhere in the Old World. We have the burrowing moles, subterranean insectivores with powerful digging limbs. New World, Eastern mole. Old World, golden mole. And then Asia Pacific is a marsupial, which is not the same thing. Here's a golden mole. Here's the Eastern mole. New World is the Eastern mole. So the Western world has an Eastern mole. Okay. There we go. And here's a marsupial mole with a depiction. I guess for whatever reason they can't show it. Then we have the anteaters. Totally unrelated. New World giant anteater, which is a huge animal. It's like bigger than a jaguar. That's how big it is. Aardvark in the Old World, Asia Pacific, is a numbat. So none of these things are actually related, as far as I can tell. So then we got, these are the gliding mammals. We got the southern flying squirrel, which I guess is what I've seen in Missouri. And the Siberian flying squirrel, which you can't see very well, but there it is. And we have the sugar baby. I guess they call these sugar babies too, anyway. Sugar glider is this one right there, which is basically the same thing. Different markings, maybe. Australian Museum. I guess it's I don't know if that's a marsupial or what. But anyways, we have the New World flying squirrel and the Old World flying squirrel. And then there's a sugar glider, which I don't know if it's a marsupial. I gotta check. Should have asked already, but I can't think of everything. Then Grok has the canines mixed up a little bit or separated. You have the coyote and gray wolf in the New World. Old World, you got the gray wolf, the black jackal, and the golden jackal. Asia Pacific, you got a gray wolf, golden jackal, and doe, which is in another group here. But there's the wolf. There's the thylacine, which is marsupial. Then you have the smilodon, the homotherium, and the thylacoleo. Thylacoleo is extinct, of course, and it's marsupial anyway. Oh, this is the marsupial. This is they're all extinct, I guess. The homotherium has got saber-tooth cat. Okay, so next thing up is the hummingbirds in North America, in America, but sadly there's no other ones in anywhere else that you can really call a hummingbird. Here's a scarlet-chested sunbird. Doesn't really look like maybe it is a hummingbird, I don't know. There's another one, eastern spinebill. Doesn't really look like a hummingbird to me. If it's sitting on a branch, might not be a hummingbird. Okay, New World ruby-throated hummingbird. Of course, we got different kinds. They're all hummingbirds. Old World scarlet sunbird, eastern spinebird, but they all eat nectar from flowers, I guess. I don't know. Then we got the spiny mammals. We got a northern porcupine. It's a porcupine. Crested porcupine. And from looking at the snout, they look like the same animal to me. This one here, echidna, doesn't look like the same animal to me. So then here's another group of animals that Grok couldn't put together, wasn't able to put together. Prehensile tail arboreals. There's a woolly possum, and then they have it with a pangolin, and here's the other ringtail possum. And somehow they didn't group, or he didn't group it, or it didn't group it with the other possums. For whatever reason, I don't know. I guess it's trying to put the pictures together, and they didn't come together right away. So here's the large spotted cats, closely related in Panthera felidae. Ambush predators with rosette coats. New World, this is Americas, is a jaguar. And the Old World is a leopard. And then you have the clouded leopards. This is like in, where is it? Asia somewhere. But then you also have the snow leopards too, which are pretty clouded, but they got longer fur. Don't know why I didn't show a picture of a snow leopard, but anyways, can you tell the difference between a leopard and a jaguar? The main difference, besides the jaguar being stronger bite and everything, the leopard has like smaller dots with pretty much nothing in the middle of the dot. The jaguar has larger dots with a spot or two in the middle. Other than that, it's almost identical. Of course, having been separated, how many thousands of years? 4,000 years, 4,300 years or something like that. Other than that, it's the same animal. Just two different lineages of the same family, cat family. Same with this creature here. It looks like he's a nocturnal creature, hard to find and stuff like that. But there's also the snow leopard, and there's other leopards too. Anyways, here we come to the otters. we got the North American river otter, South American giant otter. For some reason, Grok couldn't find a picture of the giant otter. But it's an otter just the same. It's just a big otter. River otter. And there's sea otters too, of course, in California. See, this is the river otter. This is the river otter, North American river otter, but there's sea otters in California too. So I don't know what the problem is in finding all these otters, but then there's a South American giant otter, there's an old world Eurasian otter, and there's a Asian Pacific, Asian small clawed otter, all separated by the breakup of the continents. That's clearly an otter right there. They call it a small clawed otter, but it's an otter. And of course, you have the California otters in California. I don't know if they're the same or what, but anyways, I'm pretty sure there's quite a few different otters around the world. Now we have the constrictors, closely related in Boidae, Pythonidae families. Boa constrictor, green anaconda, yellow anaconda. This is a New World. Old World, you got the same thing. African rock python, which is right there. Basically, the same snake separated by lots of time and a different lineage, but basically the same snake. Plus, you have the Asian. The Asian. Well, this one looks pretty much similar to these here, but when you get into the green anaconda, yellow anaconda, they got a different pattern, different looking pattern. And there's an Asian one that looks just like it too, but it's not this one. But anyways, I don't know why it's so hard to get some pictures, but anyways. Now we have the infamous mustelids, badger-like mustelids. Closely related in the mustelid family, aggressive carnivores like honey badger and grison. Now this is what I didn't know. I knew we had a New World greater grison and an Old World honey badger, but I did not know there was an Asian Pacific honey badger. I didn't know that, but if that's the case, then it's probably a good variety of Asian and Pacific honey badgers. It's even called a honey badger. This is not, they don't want to call this one a honey badger because it's in America, because that might ask people to, or get people to ask questions. It's like, how did this honey badger get to America? And they know it's a honey badger, and it'll make them ask questions like, how did that happen? Oh, the continents broke apart in the days of Peleg. Okay. All right. There's the African honey badger right there. There's no picture for a Pacific one, so they just show another honey badger, African honey badger. How can you tell the difference? If you look closely, the white here, separation white from the black, is underneath the ear on this South American version. And on the African version, it's just barely over the ear. Just barely over the ear. And of course, this one here looks like he's been in fights with lions and tigers and stuff. And bears, or I don't know if we have bears. But anyways, this one's a little bit sleeker, but it's the same animal with the same habits, the same food, same mannerisms, everything. Same intelligence, pretty much. I think you can call them intelligent. Actually, they're supposed to be very intelligent, yeah. So, and carnivores tend to be more intelligent for some reason. Whatever reason, be it crows, things like that. Then we have the hares. And so we got the New World, we got the black-tailed jackrabbits. and the snowshoe rabbit, which black-tailed jackrabbit. Now we're missing the snowshoe rabbit for some reason. Then you got the European hare. There's the European hare. It's a jackrabbit, as far as I can tell. It's a jackrabbit, right? Just separated by thousands of years, that's all. 4,300 years. That's how long they've been separated. And look how identical they are. And here we have the Japanese jackrabbit. The Japanese hare, not that much different. Not that much different than the other ones. And that's in Japan, the Japanese one. Separated by the breakup of the continents. Here's the rest of the possums. So we got possums and opossums. Now, why they insist on us calling ours opossums? Because you don't want people to think that they're the same relation, same animal. But it is what it is. We have possums too. I mean, whether or not you call them opossums or not, they're still possums. As far as I am concerned, New World common opossum, Old World none. There's no Old World possum, but there is an Asia Pacific common ringtail possum, and here's the picture again, which doesn't justify the variety of possums that they have in Australia. It is a marsupial, and of course, Australia was once connected to South America, believe it or not, after the global flood, by way of Antarctica. But that's part of the story right there. And part of the reason why I became curious. It's like, why call them opossums when it's a possum? But anyways, there you go. The rest of the possum family. Well, this South American possum. This is a North American version of a possum. South American ones are really, really ugly. I actually might have some video of it on one of my videos on YouTube. Now we have the crocodiles. Does everybody know that you have crocodiles everywhere? You have the New World American crocodile, that's a crocodile, right? You have the Old World Nile crocodile, that's a crocodile, right? Looks like a caiman, but it's a crocodile. And we have the saltwater crocodile in the Philippines and Australia and stuff. It's a crocodile, right? Yeah. They're all crocodiles, all separated by 4,300 years or so. All crocodiles, 3 different places. Now we got the pit vipers. Venomous snakes with heat pits. In the New World, you have a rattlesnake, copperhead, and bushmaster. Of course, the rattlesnake has a rattle, but you can see the patterns here is not that far off from that of a bushmaster. Was this a copperhead? I don't know what that is. I guess it's a copperhead. Doesn't look like a bushmaster. But the bushmaster is, of course, 7 feet long. The copperhead's about maybe 3 feet long at the most. So the bushmaster is twice as big as the copperhead. So we have the pit vipers. We have New World, rattlesnakes, copperhead, bushmaster. Old World is limited, Caucasus viper. I guess there's a Caucasus viper, but I don't know if it has the pit. Might not have the heat pit, but in Asia we do have a pit viper called a habu. And I guess, well, I don't know. It's not showing a picture. Need to get some pictures of this stuff. Anyways, there it is. Maybe that's the habu. I don't know. Because it doesn't, I don't know if it looks like a, but it's similar pattern to the rattlesnake, similar pattern to the bushmaster, similar pattern to the copperhead. So where we go back, or to the eagles again. Sea eagles, closely related genus. So we got the New World bald eagle. Everybody knows a bald eagle. White-tailed too. Old World white-tailed eagle, which is this one, but I've seen an African fishing eagle with a white head too. So I was trying to get a picture of that, but it couldn't show me a picture of an African sea eagle. But in the Asia Pacific, they got white-bellied sea eagles too. There's a picture of that one with a white head and tail. Separated by time, and they look a little bit different, but really not that much different. This one's got a big beak, just like this one's got a big beak. This one's got a big beak, but then there's the African one too. And this is a pretty big beak too. A little bit different format, but of course they're all different lineages, but separated by 4,300 years or so. We have the carp. New World is introduced, so it's not endemic to the New World. But the Old World, you have the common carp, it's native, and the Asian Pacific carp, common carp, native. So what it is that these don't really represent anything having to do with the break of the continents, because when the water went down, they sought out streams and rivers, and which really, wherever they happened to be, that's whatever stream and river they went up, and then they just kept coming back to the same stream and river, like salmon. But it's really not related. It's related to what happened after the global flood, but not necessarily related to the breakup of the continents. So, armored insectivores. 9-banded armadillos, only in the New World. Old World pangolin, which is, I guess you could say it's similar, but not really. Probably not the same physiology or anything. And then you got the Asian pangolin, which they have the same picture for the pangolin. Now we have the slow arboreal climbers. New World is a 3-toed sloth. Now, why is it 3-toed? Because I guess it's not 5-toed. But anyways, it's only found in South America. So the question was, some people might have, is did the Bible talk about sloth because of the animal sloth, or was the animal called the sloth because of its slow nature? The answer is that the animal was named sloth because of its slow nature, because it reminded the biologists that found it or classified it as being slothful. So the word sloth came first, and then the naming of the sloth came second, because this is only found in South America, not in Asia, not in Israel, or any place like that. In Asia, they do have the slow loris, which looks like this. Nothing like a sloth. Grok just was reminded that it's slow too, I guess. I don't know. So here's some more aquatic rodents. Giant, semi-aquatic. They call them semi-aquatic, but they're very aquatic. Well, I guess you could call them semi-aquatic. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had to been on the ark if they were totally aquatic. Giant rodents. Rodents, you could say they were on the ark. But there's a whole bunch in South America. There's a whole bunch of rodents. They're all semi-aquatic, and they're all very similar. Everybody's familiar or might be familiar with the capybara. They're called capybaras. North America. Oh, and then the North American beaver. I don't know. How can you relate the North American beaver with a... Anyways, Old World, there's a Eurasian beaver. So I don't know why or how Grok couldn't associate the Asian beaver with the North American beaver. But anyways, you had to group it with the capybaras. Capybara is what we call it. But of course, the B and the V is always interchangeable in language. Capybara, capybara, capybara. Vinu, binu. It's always interchangeable. Omnivorous ring-tailed foragers. Now this, I don't know how they associated this. This is an animal in South America. It's a very nice animal. It is kind of cat-like, I guess you might say, but I never thought of it as a cat before. It eats bugs and insects and stuff, and fruit too, but somehow Grok associated with the gannet and the civet. Old gannet and the Asian Pacific civet, which look like these, which are cat-like, but they live in the trees. So I don't know. Maybe they are somehow associated. Genetically, I don't know. I have to see how closely related they are genetically. But they are kind of similar. This is looks like he got claws that are retractable. Probably this one has retractable claws. This one here doesn't look like retractable claws. Doesn't look cat-like to me. But who knows? It is a very nice animal in South America. It's not a rodent like the other South American animals. It is a mammal. So I guess maybe it's cat-like. I don't know. I have to figure that. I have to check that out. So we have the small forest dwelling canids. Has anybody ever seen the bush dog? This is a dog endemic to the South American jungle. They're short and stocky because they have to go through undergrowth, forest undergrowth. And they're not like normal dogs. They're not like normal canids. They're kind of weird or whatever, but they are what they are. They're called a bush dog. They didn't even know they existed, but they are endemic to South America. The Old World, you have the black-backed jackal. Now, I wanted this thing to be associated with a coyote. Show the similarity between this and a coyote, but anyways, it's similar. But of course, this is African, and the coyote is American. Plus, you got the doe, and there's other Asian canines or canids or dog-like animals that are very interesting as well. And even South America, there's other ones in South America that have long legs like that too, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, large nocturnal forest rodent. Here's the rest of the rodents. Besides the capybara, we have the lowland paca. Now it's a little bit different, but it's hard to tell what it looks like here, but it's a nice animal. And they're comparing it with a cane rat, an old world cane rat. which is some kind of animal in Africa. It's a rodent. This is a big rodent. That's all it is. And now we come to, actually, let me go. You've seen the capybara, you've seen the paca, but you haven't seen the cutia, which is called an agouti. So let me show you a picture of the cutia, which I believe is right here. Which I put in the description, I put this in the description for the cutia. This thing here, when they say it has quick bursts of running, or it has quick bursts of running, what you might not realize is it translates to being lightning fast. These things are lightning fast. So you can see them like running, walking down the trail or something. But if they hear a noise or if you spook them or something, they're just gone just like that. In a flash, in an instant, they're just gone. Gone. That's how fast they are. I just wanted to show you this one because this is a very interesting animal. And of course, these are, they're prized for their meat and everything. Most of these. This one here, and I saw one of these when I was down there in Amazon last time I was there. And I saw an anta too. Anta is paper. So, well, actually, I didn't see it. It ran away from me. It sounded like an elephant running through the woods or something. But, well, I think I caught a glimpse. It wasn't real big, but it was big. Prehensile nose browsers, closely related in Tapiridae family. Okay, trunked herbivores. Lowland tapir. This is not a rodent. This is a mammal, of course. In the old world, so in Africa there's none, apparently, according to this. But in Asia Pacific there is. So, separated by 300 years or so, this is the Asian tapir, Malayan tapir. Got separated when the continents broke apart. That's very interesting to me. And of course, there's a couple more kinds of tapir. We call them anta in Portuguese. Now we got burrowing rodents, a pocket gopher, mole rat, southern marsupial mole already in moles. But the marsupial, of course, is not a mammal. I mean, it's not a placental mammal. They call them mammals, but to me, they're a totally different animal. Totally different. So that's the gopher. Oh, it's a gopher. Oh, okay. Pocket gopher. Then there's the mole rat. And then there's the other one, which is not... The marsupial mole is not shown. So I guess this is is that the old world version? Old world. Okay. So now we got antelope-like ruminants. Okay, fast grazers with horns. Now these are permanent horns, from what I understand. They're pronghorn. So these are not like antlers that fall off. So in the New World, you have pronghorn out in Kansas. Probably have some pronghorn. Thompson gazelles, which everybody's seen from African wildlife movies or documentaries or whatever. Plus, Asia Pacific has various gazelles and Tibetan gazelle. So that's what these would be here. Thompson gazelle. And apparently that's the end of the slideshow right there. So yeah, that's what happened when the continents broke apart. Everybody, and there's Dwayne. I see Dwayne. I see Doki. And thanks everybody for your participation and encouragement and everything like that. So yeah, let's see. This should be about it for right now. So God bless everybody. Take care and be encouraged by the Holy Spirit. Everybody take care.